Welcome guys, my name's Nelly, and this is a kind of a mini series of videos I want to be doing. I've been saying for the past month or two, I want to make videos about stuff that I'm passionate about, that I'm excited about, and I've really enjoyed Fortnite. So my other videos aren't going anywhere. I'm still going to be making interesting, spooky, funny, weird videos. That's not going anywhere, but this is kind of like a little mini series because I've been getting a lot of questions about Fortnite and tips and stuff like that. And I'm not an amazing player, but I like to think that I'm pretty decent, and I like to do a lot of background and learn a lot about the game. I want to improve myself, so I thought I can make these little tutorials and help you guys improve in the game. So lesson number one seems very obvious. We got to talk about landing. It's a massive part of the game. You want to give yourself the best possible start. So you want to know how to land and where to land. So I'm going to break this lesson down to 3 different categories. The first category is going to be you have to know the map. And on screen right now, you'll see a map that someone has made of all the possible chest locations. Key here is that this means possible. It doesn't mean they're always going to be there. Some chests may not be on the map when you actually land in a game. Sometimes they will be. So the key here is possible. And we have Reddit user Kevin Spicy, 10 out of 10 name. We have him to thank for this map. So make sure to learn this map. If not, learn it. You can print it out, keep it next to your desk. It's going to be very helpful, not only for this tutorial, but for later tutorials. Alright, the game is officially underway. The bus is moving, and you do not know where to go. So here's an example of a typical game. I've made this little diagram, I guess. You can see the bus path, and you can see some circles around the map, and I'll explain what each of these circles means. So red obviously means like areas that have the highest probability of having a lot of people there. So tilted towers, the bus is going right through it, you know it's going to be busy. Blue is the farthest away and the least likely to have people there, and then yellow is like a medium, something in the middle. So depending on where you're comfortable with, if you're comfortable with a lot of people to start, then by all means jump to tilted towers and just go wild. If you're not so comfortable, go on a little bit on the outskirts of the map. You're guaranteed at least, to get some loot. Keep in mind that if you start farther and more on the outskirts of the map, there's a higher probability that you'll have to walk towards the circle and you won't be in it, or you might be really far away from it. Another thing to keep in mind is if you are comfortable with a certain place, let's say, I've been to the prison 30 times and I've been to every other place maybe once. I am comfortable with landing at the prison, knowing where all the loot is, knowing where all the potential enemies could be coming from, and even knowing, which will be talked about later in the next tutorial, knowing where to go after the prison. So make sure to jump in a spot where you have the best probability of surviving and getting some good items. Also, going to places that don't have specific names usually means there's going to be less people, and waiting till the last second or waiting till close to the end means there's going to be more people that have jumped off, which means there's a higher probability that the location where you jump off, there will be less people. So keep that in mind. Okay, so now you know the map, you know where all the loot is, and now you have an idea of where the bus is going, where there's going to be people, where there won't be people, and where you're going to jump. So the number one question is, how do I jump? What are the commands that I'm putting in? How do I get to the ground the quickest? And I've seen all kinds of videos online with like glitches and tapping A really quick. I don't know if any of that stuff works. I've done my own tests here, the basic stuff that I could do. It took me a couple hours, but I tried 3 different jumps on a very similar path. So it took a while before I could find the exact same path or very close to it. And the number one thing to keep in mind is you want to jump out as as early as possible and be at your location the fastest. You want to be the first one there. So if you wait too long, you might overshoot, which means you'll have to hang in the air. If you jump really early, it means you might undershoot and you might have to run to your location or sprint to it. But if you get it just right, you'll land exactly where you want and you'll be one of the first people there. So the key thing to keep in mind is your parachute auto deploys at a certain height. Now, if you are, on top of a mountain, it'll deploy a lot sooner. If you're falling straight into a lake, it'll deploy a lot later. So it's going to take practice. There's no other way around it. I can give you kind of my ballpark of what I like to do, but it won't really help you because the flight path is always changing and your location might always be changing. So once you get comfortable, once you get a few really, spot on landings, you'll know exactly what you have to do to land your desired location. And now the last thing I don't really know is if the tilt of your umbrella, let's say you want to go to a certain spot and you're kind of leaning right. I don't know if that makes you go quicker as if you were leaning forward. You have to do that test on your own, to be honest. I haven't really found much of a difference, but those are kind of the basics. One more small thing you should probably keep in mind is you can always change location. If you see someone getting to your spot before you and you see another crate that's wide open and you can get to it, you can do that. Also, maybe try to have a look around you as you're in the air and see how many people are falling around you, so you know how much time you have, what you should watch out for, where your enemies could be coming from next. and yeah, you'll be all right. So this has been kind of a simple first lesson. If I've missed anything, please let me know. I'm also trying to improve my game as well as help you guys. So if there's a really good comment or a really good suggestion, I'll maybe talk about it in the next video or pin it to the comments. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time. Peace.